My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast,
Woo!
and we're back for one of our midweek episodes.
Twice in 1 week.
Twice in 1 week. You're sick of this already.
You're thinking, where can we go? We spoke to Stephen from Great British Bakeoff.
That was fantastic, and have a listen to that. Well, where can we go? We're coming back for home comforts.
Indeed. We've got to go back to the Australians.
And who better to come back to? Hey, Emma, how you going?
Good, thank you. Hi.
How are we? How was it to watch your own demise on television? I have to start.
Well, I'll be totally honest. I was really dreading it only because, I knew the result. But
hoping for a different one?
Yeah. I was hoping that, there were some magicians in the editing. But truth be told, though, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it.
Yeah. Oh, it's the thing is, though, that when we sort of said this the other day, it was an episode where nobody really had spectacular failures. And we've had this all the way through this series. No one's gone home on a spectacular failure. It's been
No wonder why you just couldn't get onto My Kitchen Rules.
Exactly.
Not enough drama.
Not enough drama, no failure. It's been like little bits here and there have been the difference.
Yeah, it's really funny, actually. And, well, my favourite bit of that episode, actually, was when I said during the technical, I just really hope I don't come last again. Heading into the judging, I was actually quietly confident, not being rude, but, Rob and Barb's pies had collapsed.
They're falling apart. You're thinking you're in with a shout. I mean,
yeah, I'm like, at least I'll come third last, perhaps. But no, last again.
I won't lie. I was sitting there thinking, and I did put this out on the Twitter as well. I was there going, well, those pies have no structural integrity and don't exist as a pie anymore. And I actually think I said, well, at least Emma's definitely not last in this one. Next minute. Now we also put out on the most recent episode, the review of your one, we put out, because you had this dilemma to camera, and it really was a bit of a dilemma moment. You were talking about, I don't know if I make it look really good or if I want to make sure that, I don't make anyone sick. And you went, I think I'm going to go for flavour and that. I won't worry about the look so much. I'll worry about the middle. And why did you not go the other way?
I know. In hindsight now,
they're tasting all these chicken and leek pies, something that is probably going to make someone sick at some point, potentially. She's ethical. And you got all this science ethics running around you. And the next thing you're like, no, I can't poison them. Worry about the looks.
Yeah. Oh, I know. If I had my time again, trust me, it'd be a bit different. It'd be a spectacular.
If you've had your time again, Maggie Beer would have been off for a day.
Look,
Gastro stop. It's great.
They could have got an Imodium sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting sort of. It was an interesting week to go out on too. Family favourites.
Yeah, it really was. The funny thing is, even though I obviously went home, even heading into the elimination, it's I really felt like everybody baked so well that week.
Yeah.
It was, I obviously knew it was most likely going to be me. But, it was a really pleasant week in the shed, as strange as that sounds.
Well, it was fair weather. It was, just... You're in the middle of it all as well. There's not, there's lots of people there, but there's not everyone there.
You're making pavlova?
Making pav. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you guys out-pav yourselves? I can't imagine ever out-paving myself. But with that much pav, how much sugar rush is going on?
Yeah, I was really lucky with the fact that it was a pav challenge. Growing up, I can't even count how many pavs I've had. But
you're in Queensland, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was even funny that they sort of left in how I've managed to just let slip that it's my grandma that usually makes the pavlovas.
Yep.
So it's kind of
You had that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because you mentioned your grandmother as well, which you did assist the drinking game spectacularly.
Yeah, well done.
So you got a lot of people drunk off that one. So well done.
Sorry, everyone.
Oh no, to be honest with you, they were all gone by the technical.
I don't think they remember.
Card number 3 meant that anyone who played card number 3 in the drinking game this week was drunk by the technical, because everything hit. And
Was it Verjuice or one of them?
Verjuice didn't hit,
Or
although a
matcha.
little birdie told me that there was still Verjuice around
The
in that
pie.
week, maybe around pie.
Also, they've released the recipe,
Recipe.
now on the
Yep.
Lifestyle Channel page.
Website,
So
So in other words, everyone, if you didn't tick Verjuice off, go have a drink now. Go have a drink now. So in terms of family favourites week, though, my first question on family favourites themselves is, if you had to pick 3 things that you'd want to make for a family favourites, what would you pick? It doesn't have to be what they set for the challenges. You pick 3 family favourites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely hummingbird cake.
Yep.
Like, that's just my favorite thing ever.
That's where the muffins came from. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez. I don't know. Probably some chocolate cupcakes. They're
Yep,
always
that makes
popular.
sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
They're always good.
So I had this discussion with a few people the other day. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
shortbread would definitely be one of the 3.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
My mother makes amazing shortbread.
Your
so-
aunt's angel cakes.
Yes, she does. She makes the fairy cakes with where you scoop the middle out and the cream and the icing sugar. And
Oh, yum.
they're sensational.
Oh my God! Like, I live for them. Like, I get to go to their Christmas.
They go to family Christmas.
I go to their family Christmas because I make my family Christmas is too far away.
but
It's
in
really-
reality, we've got all the baked goods. And yeah, so I don't know what I do for a third baked item.
I do chocolate crackles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's not baked, but
I would have
it's-
I would have actually gone with, I know they went with the children's cake in week 1, but I would have done the Woman's Weekly children's cookbook. The children's cake book. I would have done that as the family favourite, the last one.
Which one? Which one did you
I would have
have?
made the swimming pool. I had all of them, by the way. There are photos from my childhood where it's nothing but my parents running through the woman's weekly children's
Did
cookbook.
you have the gollywog? Because that's taken out now,
Yeah, it's out now. It's not there anymore.
which is good.
But the swimming pool, I had 2 clock cakes, both with the mouse running up them. It was.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, this is what my family did for the first few years of my life, was make me cakes out of that book.
So did you have like any spectacular cakes when you were growing up?
Well, actually, do you remember, I think it is in one of the Women's Weekly cookbooks, the like cake of kisses.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandma once made me one of those, so that was,
Ooh.
a nice little variation on my birthday pavlova.
So what are they? Are they is it like little meringues or something? Or
Yeah. So it's like she made it so that it was sort of like the skirt of a dress. So it's really cool.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
That's awesome. What about you? What did you get?
I got the witch.
You got the witch?
I didn't give a shit about the rest. I got the witch.
You got the witch. You're like, yeah, the rest of them. We got a witch.
I had that at the Skate Plus down in the Shire. There's the skate rink where it was originally, not the new place.
Of course, it was the Shire.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the Women's Weekly cakes because, jelly on top of cake with then quite clearly chocolate bullets around the outside for the pool fence. That's life as far as I'm concerned in terms of cakes.
And are you now cooking cakes for other kids in your life, or?
Well, actually, I don't really know that many
Just
kids.
random children walking down the street.
Yeah. Hey, kids, you want a cake?
You got a trench coat on, little kid.
That's a bit too seedy.
My cake.
I've definitely been baking more cakes, but more for an adult audience.
Oh, okay. So making boobs.
Lots of booze inside the cake too.
And bread snails.
Yeah, I'm a bit heavy with the cherry liqueur. That's always
There's no
delicious.
such thing as too heavy with the cherry liqueur. Now, this actually comes back to a really good point. We sort of raised it a little bit the other day, and Monica from last series did ask the question, who's taken over inside the shed as the booze hound? Because Monica last series was the one with all the booze stashed.
Are we talking inside the shed or outside the shed?
It could be either. I hear there's been some fun baking parties, but
Yeah.
it's always interesting because we know that,
It's Dave, isn't it? It's always the quiet ones.
no one suspects him.
Yeah, the quiet assassin.
quietly standing at the bench doing the figures. Have I bought enough? Yep, definitely. I got this also bought in large quantity. We bought a wholesale at the back. So we saved tax credit.
So he's like, what's he from Ghostbusters?
Yes.
He's holding the party.
Rick Moranis' character from
Yes.
Ghostbusters riding his party off on tax. Dave is riding the booze and the shit off on tax. So...
Oh, that's very funny. I really don't think that any of the bakers used enough alcohol in their bakes.
It's what I've noticed is that the quantity of alcohol is not as high as it was last year. We did have a lot of very passionate Italians last year. That does help.
Yeah, I kind of regret it. I mean, I did take a risk and go with a fairy floss and bubblegum flavour that Maggie Beer actually...
Yeah, we were going to come to that reaction. There are certain reactions that in your life, you either have to go, ooh, and cringe a little bit, or go, I am so proud of it.
Yeah.
That reaction from Maggie, which way have you lent on that? Because I would have been proud.
Well, I mean, at the time, you know, that was my second day in the shed. So it was pretty confronting, actually. And truth be told, I didn't expect that she would taste the batter.
Yeah, that does seem a bit weird.
Yeah, so when she was kind of going towards, like, doing it, I was thinking, oh, no, like, you're going to hate that.
I wouldn't do that. I'm making it.
One really seems like savoury flavours and, you know, like natural flavours. Like, they're the complete opposite. Would be
I know. Oh, gosh.
Yes, the person who talks about loving the savoury going, oh, what's that? The sweetest possible thing you could make. Let me try that raw, shall we?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that was a very defining moment for me in the shed, that one.
It was your moment, and you owned that moment.
Oh, gosh.
Was there anything in the shed that you baked that you were really excited about baking? Like, that just had you... You know, when you get captured by muses and you're like, yep, this is going to work because I've got it sorted.
It's funny, actually, because with the jam drops, I thought that I nailed them. And I thought that because I didn't read the final line of the recipe.
Which said, no, Emma, they're not right yet. Is that the last line?
The final line was that you were supposed to top it up with jam at the end. And so I didn't read that. And so I finished, you know, like on time. Like I just thought, you know, like, yes, you've finally done a bake that isn't terrible. And as I was walking it up to the judging table, it was one of those realizations. It was like, oh, that's what they're supposed to look like.
It's the moment. It's the moment when you look at all the other kids' homework and go, oh, that. Damn.
It's like when everyone's comparing answers to a maths test and it's like, oh, I got 33 and I got 34 and you've got like 4,850.
Wait.
It was so
34 in a maths test? I can't count that high.
Next week, 8. So,
have you ever done that with any sciencey stuff? Like, just forgotten one crucial, you know, instruction? Something?
Definitely. To quote myself from that last episode, science is all about trial and error. And sometimes, like, you get to the end of whatever you're doing, and then you just think, like, that's weird. That's not what I should have gotten.
But like, I always like that Adam Savage line where he talks about data, and we're going to go into sciencey stuff now and come back to baking because it all links. All links. It's all wonderful. Where Adam Savage talks about getting scientific data from testing, and he's like, when you get data that matches what your hypothesis is, you go, yeah, okay, fine. He goes, when you get data that doesn't match your hypothesis, it's actually the best data you can get because you're about to learn something.
Yeah.
And that's something I think was sort of that's something that I love about science. What is it that draws you to science? Well,
funnily enough, actually, that like you sort of touched on that. I've just recently, with my supervisor, submitted some of the work that we did during my honours year, and so we've just submitted that for publication. Hopefully, it gets reviewed. Oh, did you hear that thunder?
Ooh.
No.
Um,
That was the reaction from your scientific paper being published.
The peer review.
Peer review is in.
But the interesting thing is with the research that I did was that we kind of found that what we were looking at doesn't really work. And the thing that I love about science is that is still a result. That is still a useful thing to know that, that avenue towards, making something easier might not necessarily work, but it is still valuable. Besides that, I just love how broad science is. There are so many different things that people can do in science that it's kind of like there's something for everyone.
Well, linking into that, we did ask Twitter to give us some questions. I'll give you the first question I've got. This is from a young gentleman by the name of Rob. And Rob put to me, and I'm quoting directly here, "You've done a lot of freaking amazing sciencing of things and stuff." My caveat to that is that what's something that we'd not expect that you've got to do in your science background?
Oh, okay.
You clarified they were all technical terms there.
So a lot of the science stuff that I did do, particularly in my honours project, was forensics based, which not many people sort of think my personality would fit into that, but I really loved it. As well as that, I was actually really lucky to be able to work in a team of people that we published a chapter in a textbook. So that was pretty cool.
Published. Nice work.
She's published. She had David Caruso moments. That's not presumably when you did parenting.
Spends all the time taking glasses on and off so they can't kick her out of the lab.
Yeah. Or you have montages, to like electronica music. I just know the references. I don't watch the shows, and I know the pop culture references.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
So along with the science stuff that obviously your background is in, did that then get really irritating when they mention it every week when you're in the shed?
It's really funny because so obviously I remembered how much I spoke with, everybody and how much I spoke on camera and how many different things I said. So it's really funny for me to rewatch the show, and it's very concentrated, especially in that last episode. And I've been thinking as to why that must have been. And I guess the only other sound grabs that they had of me would be things like, "Yeah, geez, I've never made a pie before. How do I put the pastry in the tin?"
You're that person they're going, I've not done it. This is Bakeoff. I thought this was
all they had was science.
This is perfect for the drinking game.
Yeah, isn't this the Great Australian Science Fair? Sure it was. I saw Dr. Carl out the front. He was hosting, isn't he?
Oh,
what do you mean that's Matt Moran?
But can I just say, it's so women get on TV and all they're done is exploited for their science.
It's their mind. They're just digging into that mind.
What have you got to teach us today?
But I mean, I can't really sort of sit there and go, how'd you feel about the fact they kept on referencing science? Because when you got the chance to make something that was sort of biscuit-based, maybe, and iced,
awesome.
The periodic table.
Holy shit.
By the way, loved it. But
Thank you.
Explains the science references.
Did you do that or did you have a sketch, or how did you?
Well, I was actually really concerned that I might get into the shed and have a mental blank and just produce something
helium. Oh shit.
See, I would have sung the Tom Lehrer song, The Elements, and that would have got me through large chunks of it.
Well, I did bring in a picture of it just in case. It was really funny because I had a few sort of things in it, so banana flavor for potassium being in that first sort of section. And then in one of the other sections where there are a lot of elements that make up, for instance, citric acid, I made those biscuits lemon flavored and
nice.
Yeah, and so it's funny. So the section that has silver and that kind of thing in them, I didn't really know how to flavor that one. And considering how...
And the section with mercury everyone avoided.
Well, yeah, that's why I did kumquat flavor. I thought what's the most random flavor I could think of.
And that was, to be honest with you, for me, so far out of this series, the most amazing flavor of anything that I've seen. I'm sitting there going, kumquat. I don't remember anyone using kumquat. This is genius.
And it was him really reacting to a flavor that wasn't like ranting about how much it's overused.
It wasn't yuzu
So
or matcha.
thank you, Emma.
Yeah.
That was
That's so funny.
She was thrilled that it wasn't a yuzu or a matcha reference, and
because I'm okay with yuzu and matcha, but Chris,
I'm definitely not.
Just has the rant.
I definitely don't react to both of those. So kumquat was like, ooh, actually, ooh, this is cool. This is nice. I like this. So of the weeks, the weeks that you did, obviously, which was your favorite week overall?
Oh, I would have to say, definitely not week 2.
But what's wrong with bread? I mean, it all went so well.
Yeah. I would have to say week 3, because by that point I'd sort of settled into the shed a little bit, sort of understood what was going on. And even though, you know, I thought that I nailed the jam drops, but certainly didn't. It was still a really
fuck those jam drops up again. You learnt a lot.
No.
Again.
Oh my goodness.
When you get a result that doesn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funniest part to me in that whole episode, it didn't make the episode, but Matt Moran, when he came to talk to me about biscotti, he said, you know, the usual, you're in the bottom 2 last week, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, that's funny, Matt. I forgot. Anyway, he's like, have you made biscotti? He goes, have you made biscotti many times? And I just thought, you know, honesty is the best policy. So I said, I've made biscotti 4 times in my life, 3 of which were yesterday. And the look on his face was like, what?
I've eaten it.
Yeah, my reaction would have been, I would have deadpanned him and gone, what's biscotti?
I don't even think he would have been surprised if I said that.
I'm just making another spelt focaccia.
Oh, that was so stressful.
How much of an issue that was sort of brought up to be, the way they almost brought it up when they brought it up on the show, when they were talking to you about the spelt. It was almost like it had dun, dun, dun music underneath it. When you said
You're lucky it wasn't My Kitchen Rules, it would have.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. How much of an issue they sort of...
Well, it's funny because, and this I really have to credit Alex for. It didn't make the show, but he really helped me out with my focaccia. So it's not something that I've, you know, traditionally made. And so, like, I was just giving it a crack, and he turned around and he's like, Emma, you need way more oil. And I was like, really? Like, what? Like, I don't even really, like, it hasn't even risen, Alex. Like, it was so stressful. And you know, Chris was at my bench trying to help me out. Like, it was, the whole thing did sort of build up to a pretty stressful moment. And incredibly, the thing that ended up being bad about it was that I would focus so much on how bad the dough was and that it wasn't going to rise and I should never have used spelt. And it was the toppings that brought me down.
The toppings they complained about, yeah. that was the weird bit. They're like, all the way it was spelt. Oh no, it's the spelt's the problem. And then I got to the table.
Yeah.
Anything, and I'm like, hang on a minute. So the bread was okay.
The bread's fine, just the tasting.
The bread was good, apparently. No, but it was good. Yeah. Good. That sort of helpfulness is, again, we talk about it all the time. That helpfulness on the show is one of the things that we absolutely love about it. And also, just quickly on that, I'll mention again, Alex's focaccia had me won over because it was full of chorizo.
Yeah, you're all happy about that.
I was very happy about Alex's chorizo. You know, chorizo is what I
think
live
you were
for.
Sporting a chorizo for his chorizo.
Thank you.
I went there. Oh yeah.
So of the stuff that you obviously had to make, is there anything that out and out you were just like, I am never doing this again as long as I live, just because it's too horrific for words?
I think that the most sort of indicative thing about my time in the Bakeoff shed is that I can't decide between 2 of the bakes.
Name them both.
So obviously pumpkin scones, that was just traumatic. It was bad from the very beginning. And taking mine were literally rock hard. If you dropped it on the ground, it would have shattered. Like, it was so bad.
You've invented the new densest material on earth. Is that what came with your experimentation?
There we go. So publish it as a paper. Done.
You get Elon Musk coming to you, trying to use it in his SpaceX program for something. The next thing launched into orbit.
Oh, that's so funny.
So
Interestingly,
yeah.
I found the madeleines like really stressful to make, and they actually panned to me in this one little bit that's probably my favorite moment on the show. But they've panned to me not really knowing like how to use a blender. Like, to clarify, all of the equipment was excellent, like amazing, super straightforward. It's just I personally was having trouble.
It was an operator error.
Yeah, and so the camera has panned to me, and I've tried to play it cool. Like, I was looking at it, and I've just put it straight down and just pretended I was reading the recipe. I'll send you. I'll post a GIF of it to you after this. It's just, you probably wouldn't have noticed it. It's just, I definitely did. It's like, oh my God, that's where they panned me, and I didn't know what I was doing.
It could be worse. I mean, in the last series of British Bakeoff, Stacey ripped the door off its hinges, and then she couldn't make her put it back on. So rather than do anything else, she just pushed it up against the thing and leant against it. And they're all going, Stacey, you want to use that in my oven? No, I'm cool. And just leaning against the door. I mean, that to me is the Bake-Off. I mean, forget the not turning the oven on or not knowing how to start. It's the ripping the door off and just leaning on it and going, no, I got this. I got this sorted. The pumpkin scones thing too, I find that really interesting, obviously, from a Queensland perspective, because it does go to show generational change. Because if Flo Bjorky-Peterson was still alive,
oh gosh,
Emma wouldn't be allowed back over the border.
Stay in that state.
and definitely not being invited to any Country Women's Association gatherings anytime soon.
No.
That's not happening. If you had those dreams, Emma, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
It's so funny. That has been my biggest fear about those episodes sort of airing, is that people who, are scone experts,
the CWA mafia,
they would be throwing things at the screen, like they'd be pulling their hair out, like
touching.
No.
But on the plus side, if you just make your scones again, you've got something to throw back at them.
Oh, good point. And they would be lethal. I'd probably go to jail.
Now, this links into another question that we received from a stranger. Now, this person is called, let me see, C. Asquith.
I've never heard of a person called that.
I know. And this person asked about your time in the witness protection program. And also he wanted to know about your move from gang violence to baking triumph.
Oh my God, Chris, I'm going to kill you. Literally.
He's ready for it. So the gangster stuff, let's go.
So Chris and I had a bit of a joke while I was in the shed that, being the least experienced baker, there were some things that I literally had never even ever attempted before. And scones. Anyway, we joked around that it was all a very elaborate witness protection scheme, and that I wasn't really a baker, and that, I had this history in gangs and it was a very elaborate joke. But that the whole thing, was just one big elaborate witness protection scheme.
Producers are actually bodyguards.
It's a really interesting
undercover agents.
It's a really interesting way to hide. I like that.
Yeah.
We were saying, like hiding in absolute plain sight.
It's
like
a total. I think it's a good movie pitch.
I think it's a great movie pitch.
What could it be? Like there was none-sense. There was like
and then there was Sister Act, obviously.
Yes, Sister Act. There was none to cover.
Yeah.
We need some baking puns. Like
we'll work on it. Okay, we'll put it out to Twitter. Give us your baking witness protection program movies. There's it's a whole genre. Look, if you go to Netflix and go down the categories,
horror,
there's horror, there's sci-fi comedy, baking witness protection. It's the next category. Another question from a different individual. This one is, I believe, called Grizz. And Grizz asks, how is Misha handling her fans after the TV and RSPCA recognition? A rags to riches story.
Well, it's very funny, actually, because Mish is very antisocial. I'm really her only friend. Like, she doesn't talk to anybody else. And so she's kind of been hating it.
We've got an old curmudgeon tortoise who did the same thing.
Hey, Polly was here hanging around. I think she wanted a word with me.
Yeah, so it's been really funny. Although it's been, really, funnily enough, I have to come clean. I am actually more of a dog person, and I always have been. And then a couple of years ago, I was just procrastinating on Facebook, and I saw this ad come up that said, Misha, the 7-year-old one-eyed cat, isn't coping with the shelter. And this shelter was like an hour away from my house. And it was like, oh my God, that's what I'm doing today. I'm getting a cat. And so I went and got her, and it literally was like, from day one, like, I fell so in love with her, and she is so mean to me all the time. It's like sharing my room with a celebrity. Like, if I'm like, hey, Mish, it's like she will look at me with disdain, like, no.
I think that look legitimately right this second. She just walked up and gave me the look of, excuse me, human, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're not feeding me.
Truth be told, I'm the same, but I've moved into a house with cats, and then there's one that's now,
yours,
completely just is mine.
So he came to my house, and I had 2 cats
and a dog,
and a dog. And he was really happy about the dog. He was like, about the cats. And then he got into the cats. And then I just wanted a third cat. Like, I just had this real, longing for a third cat. And I've never wanted a third cat. But I put it on Facebook, and a friend of mine's gone, my cat's just had kittens. And I've shown him a photo of these Scottish fold kittens. And he's just gone, oh, my God, that's adorable. We have to get her. So
we did.
We drove
to that's so beautiful.
And she's very much
your cat.
Mine. Very much mine.
I'm sure she wants to kill me.
Yes.
Chris is okay.
Yeah, he does plot to kill you, I believe.
Yeah, I think because Polly's the oldest. When Polly passes, which will be a few years from now, I think I'll be the next to go because
you'll be bumped
my
off.
protection will be gone.
You'll be bumped off. And there's another non-cat related question here. This is a different person again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This person is Chris A.
Okay.
Now this actually relates to stuff that I've also been sort of tweeting back and forward with you as well.
I think I know what this is going to be. Mm-hmm.
If you have to pick an entrance theme, a la wrestling, for every baker in the shed, what are you picking?
Oh gosh.
You thought I was going to say on the scale of 1 to awesome, how good is the Ric Flair Royal Rumble? And the answer is awesome.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I mean, the only one that I would like to say is for me, and I would like it to be Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance.
By God, that's Emma's music. By God.
Yeah, and then they throw me a can of beer, and I catch it, and then they throw me another can of beer, and I catch that too, and then I start sculling that. And yeah, they can splice that in with my cat stuff, and yeah, it'll really fit.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think. When Chris, obviously, and again, for those who aren't in, that's Chris from the show. Now I was trying to think of the same thing in terms of what I would do for wrestling entrance music, and Kristie's just nodding because she doesn't really know the entrance themes. I would have, after the first couple of weeks, I would have expected Rob to start walking into the shed to Glorious.
Oh, no, I thought that was for Maggie. I know Glorious.
You know Glorious is the one
because I've seen all the Glorious bombings.
I would have thought that would have been awesome. I would have thought.
I know the Swamp Boys, that moody music.
Oh, the Bray Wyatt. Okay, that could be.
I'd give that to possibly Mel, just because of the sneakiness around the tent.
What? Because she carries a lantern around and blows it out before everyone starts baking.
Yeah, she's very.
On your mask, get set.
Okay.
High octane, high energy, so Ultimate Warrior style music.
That sounds like Dave.
Yes. Okay, Dave. I was going to say the $1 Million Man theme for Dave, but I actually think now Dave has to come into like the Ultimate Warriors, dun, 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 just because it's so opposite. I think that would be perfect. Chris, we need to give Chris one because he asked the damn question. What do we give Chris?
Can we make Chris a girl?
Yeah, of course we can. Of course we can.
That'd be good. That's my only input.
I reckon Chris can have Bailey's turn it up. So, Chris can come in with all these big sort of inflatable men next to him. There ain't no stopping us now. We celebrate on the floor. It'll be perfect for him. There we go. So Chris is Bailey. If you've got a suggestion on Twitter, please let us know as to who should come into what. I think that Matt Moran has to come into Ric Flair's music.
Yeah.
That's a must. He must come in with a woo and everything.
Can I request to change mine?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe I can alternate because I'd also like to come into the Big Show's intro.
When you're face or when you're heel, you can alternate. There you go. That works. So when you're bad, Emma, you can come into Big Show.
Yeah.
When you're good, it's by God. That's Stone Cold's music.
And it would be good, like with that music, and then I walk in and I'm tiny. So
that would be spectacular. The camera pans up and can't find you and has to zoom down.
Did Nature Boy see? I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Did Nature Boy have music?
That's Ric Flair. That's the Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's a woo.
Oh, who's the big dude then? Like the big guy that had like.
Which one?
There was a big dude and he died recently, maybe a couple of years ago, from the 80s.
Died recently. Are we talking about Andre the Giant?
Yeah,
he didn't have music.
Oh,
he was too big in their music. He was just Andre the Giant. His music was, "I'm going to the bar after this to drink about 8 kegs."
Okay,
not a joke. He actually did the theme for the Princess Bride for Andre. That could work. Yeah, okay. That could work. No, I like the fact we've at least given Chris some music, and he needs it. We've given you 2 sets of music, so greedy.
Yeah. This is perfect for the Bakeoff Ashes. They can have entrance music.
Which now brings us to our question, which is you can put together a team of 5 bakers, including yourself, to go head-to-head against 5 British bakers for the Baking Ashes. We're trying to make this happen. We're working on it. So and it doesn't have to be just from your series if you don't want it to be. It can be from other series of Australian Bake Off.
Oh, gosh. Can I remove myself from the team?
If you want to just be the team manager, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Team manager.
She's
got a theme music. She's the manager on the outside. You got a cane or...
She's like the Q of the team, like you're the science person.
I'll give it to be the Mr. Fuji of the team outside as the manager.
Okay, right.
Wrestling, yeah.
Okay, 5 people. Obviously, I've got to go with Liv and Fee.
Yep.
They're legends.
Yep.
I've got to say Sean.
Yep.
I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yep.
Yes.
And considering, Marcus, you've got to have him on your team.
Oh, you've got to have Marcus on your team, if only again for the dance distraction.
Oh, absolutely. He's so much fun to be around.
And dentists stick together.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that should be 4.
4? You got one more.
I'm going to say I've got to go with, that anonymous question asker.
Okay, so you got to go with that Grizz CS with.
Yeah.
Oh, you've probably got to, otherwise he'll be really upset with you. And you'll know he's upset with you because he'll come to attack you, and when he does that, you'll hear the music. And it's the most upbeat tempo music for him running in. There's this big burly guy. This is going to be great. We're going to get a match now going because there'll be this big burly guy coming into Bailey's Turn It Up, and there'll be you coming into Big Show. Perfect.
Oh, God.
It's so funny.
I love this. This is absolutely perfect. Now, one last thing I want to sort of mention, and if you know, obviously, the dentistry angle.
Yes.
Because we've gone from you're the scientists to you've suddenly done this career jump and gone to dentistry.
Was that Marcus' influence?
Yeah, was that Marcus going, come on, you know you want to. I need an assistant.
Hey, she'd be running the practice.
She would be.
Yeah, it's really funny. So I've always wanted to do either medicine or dentistry. I could never really decide. And while I was actually filming Bakeoff, I was perfectly in between studying for 2 different entry exams that I had to sit last year.
Oh,
so
God.
it was
You were studying
awful.
for the GAMSAT. Is that what it's called? The GAMSAT?
Yeah. So I had to sit that,
God.
and I also had to sit another one, UMAT for UQ dentistry.
Oh, okay.
So-
I thought it'd be called the DAMSAT or the DENSAT or something.
I'll just let you and your medical jargon go for it. I'll just...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Were there any crossovers in the study?
Not so much actually. Like it's funny. The UMAT has this whole section of visual puzzles.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'd suck.
It's really
There's no way I'd be a dentist.
So yeah, it's funny actually. I ended up doing over 1,000 practice questions. Like I just was locked in my room for like months at a time.
No wonder why you hadn't baked biscotti before the day before.
I've been a bit busy, Matt. Practice questions won't do themselves, Matt.
Yeah, it's really funny. And Marcus has been so helpful. So like I was even just talking to him a couple of hours ago, talking about, like my orientation and how it's been going. And yeah, he's seriously like the loveliest person ever. So it's been really great.
Everyone needs a fairy godfather like Marcus to help you like get through uni.
Just to help you through.
Yeah, I would.
Absolutely. When my friend and I, we ran a half marathon last year, and we
What would you do something like that?
I came like 7,500th or something. Seriously, there were like 9,000.
Sucks to be the 8,000.
But when we went down, Marcus let us stay in his house and like gave us all directions of how to get there, and took us out for dinner the night before. It was really, he's the nicest person ever.
Was he running the marathon too, and then did he run past you and beat you because he filled you up with food? Was it a strategy?
Funnily enough, he unfortunately had some dentistry obligations, so he wasn't able to run with us.
The well-mimed dentistry appointment, but this time not as a patient. I've got an appointment in the morning at the dentist. Really? Yeah, I'm the dentist. So what I'd like to think is that when you do eventually get to the point where you're opening your own dental practice, you need to call it dental as anything. Dental as anything.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I just think that would be wonderful.
There's not enough dental puns in the name.
There aren't enough dental
They're all
puns.
things like family first dental practice.
Family friendly dentist, or we're not ripping out your teeth just yet.
Yeah, or gentle care, or...
No, I want... This is going to hurt. Won't lie, it's probably going to cost you.
Hashtag there ain't no Medicare for this.
Hashtag mind the gap. So this has been an absolutely wonderful chat, Emma. It's been an absolute joy to get to talk to you.
We've covered some topics, haven't we?
We have. It's life, the universe, and everything.
Indeed.
It's a wide-ranging chat, and we've mentioned some baking too. So, and it's probably because, again, you're so personable, obviously in conversation and also on the show, and people really want to get to know you. So I think this has been a bit of a good insight.
And I think one thing I'd like to ask you is, you were doing all these other things in your life, yet you still auditioned for Bakeoff. What would you say to someone who, I don't know, listens to this show, may Instagram their bakes?
May tweet a lot about the show and keeps on coming up with excuses as to why, I don't know, he can't go on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. Are there initials maybe BB?
Yeah, maybe. Hashtag let Brendan bake.
I would say definitely apply. Like, it is seriously, I came last in 2 challenges. Is that a record? Like,
it's a decent run, especially to get as far as you did.
So we had the starriest baker from Great British Bake Off, and the
I came last but stayed in.
Yeah.
So
seriously. Sorry, you go.
No, go please.
Like, even coming last, dead last twice, it is still so much fun. Like, I literally can't express that enough. Even the audition process was so much fun. I was, I'd only been baking for a couple of months, and so even in my audition, I brought along some bread, and they asked me to talk about it, and I was like, This
Bread?
is a loaf of bread I made. I haven't made that much bread, but it was fun. And yeah.
There are many loaves of bread, and this one is mine.
Yeah. And
Has a
like
crust.
it was just all so much fun. And seriously, like if anybody likes baking whatsoever, it is just, you've got to do it.
Exactly. So you have to do it. Everybody, especially maybe
Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan, you're in.
Yes.
You're in.
Yes.
Hashtag let Brendan bake. So that has to
Hashtag
happen.
Brendan for Bakeoff.
Hashtag Brendan for Bakeoff. Well, thank you very much, Emma. It's been a wonderful opportunity to chat to you. Hopefully we get to chat to you again in the not too distant future.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much for having me on your
Anyway,
podcast.
I've been Chris.
I've been Kristie.
This has been the Washing Up Podcast. We'll catch you all for the next episode on Thursday night.
Woohoo!
Bye.